Hello, this is Anthony Parker, President of Albany Technical College, and this is Albany Tech's 2020 State of the College, October 21st, 2020. We are a little late in producing the State of the College this year. I think everyone knows that we had certainly some challenges in our community with COVID-19. And usually at the beginning of the State of the College presentation, we talk about report card issues in detail because we're usually very proud of our accomplishments of our faculty and staff and students, and we are this year. But we also know that COVID-19 and the pandemic interrupted some of the progress that we were in the process of making and some of our accomplishments. We will include all the report card information with this State of the College, so individuals who are interested in seeing how we performed in every category will have an opportunity to do so. We want to talk about graduations first. We are well ahead of the requirements that the Technical College System of Georgia has placed on our college for graduation. However, we didn't meet last year's goal. We left in March for the pandemic, and that meant that there were some students that had to interrupt their opportunity to receive an education and graduation. And our summer semester was a low enroll semester, about 75% of the students that we would ordinarily have, with very few lab courses. So although we did graduate a significant number of students, we didn't meet our requirements, our goals for the year. However, we're still well ahead of the pace for other years. We have an opportunity. We graduated 335 individuals with associate degrees, 479 diplomas, and 1,269 technical certificates of credit. And some of those were duplicated graduations. We are very pleased with the work of our Career Center as far as student placement is concerned. You will be able to see that 51 students were not available for employment. There were only 11 students that weren't employed and no status of known out of 1,203 unduplicated students. So you can see our placement in a glance in both chart and graph form. And our job placement rate continues to be high. We are in the 90s for placement in field, and we're above 95% for, 87.5% for placement in field and 99.4% for overall placement. Retention was a challenge last year because of the COVID circumstances. The system total was 71.5%. Our retention rate was 64.3%. But we were, I believe, the last college to be opened in the Technical College System of Georgia because of the COVID circumstance. We certainly take placement as one of our greatest responsibilities, and we feel that we will continue to do better with placement as time goes on. With retention as time goes on. Enrollment was also a challenge last year. I will say that we divided the semesters into two parts, and we had a success term that was basically the first 7 weeks or 8 weeks, and another success term that was the second 7 weeks. And using that model, our enrollment for fall 2019 increased and would have increased for spring 2020. But of course, we had to leave the campus in March because of the COVID concerns. We are sharing with you on this report, our total credit enrollment was 4,281, which is down about 150 students from the year before. The same with the number of credit hours generated. Our high school enrollment for 2020 was 881, and we're very proud of that. We're not quite at that level for this fall because, of course, the high school students were in a position of being home also during the advisement period of the spring. But we have to say that we have a healthy high school enrollment for the fall of this year of around 550 students. The Center for Business Solutions had some of the same challenges as they ended the end of the fiscal year last year. They didn't have all of the opportunities to support industry, but they still supported 27 companies and 2,079 individuals. Contract training, our number of contract training hours actually increased to 45,149. So we feel good about that opportunity. And our adult education enrollment, again, was not as robust as it has been in years past. Our graduates dropped from 293 to 162. We didn't have graduates between March of 2020 and September of 2020 because we weren't available to provide the GED exams. Adult education enrollment dropped from 912 students to 673, and ours, TCSG's enrollment dropped from almost 38,000 down to around 22,000. So our circumstances were similar to the rest of the community. We still warranty all of our graduates. If an individual comes to Albany Tech and graduates from a program and in 1 year can't perform at the level that's been agreed upon, then the college will re-educate that individual in that component with no cost to the student and no cost to the employer. We still evaluate each student's work ethics, and we provide a transcript that indicates both work ethics grades and course grades so that individual employers can make a decision based on both as they factor in who they should employ first. And we are pleased that we have an agreement, a pathway agreement with each public high school in the service delivery area. And I believe that at this point we have pathways to bachelor's degrees with about 15 different colleges. Some of our accomplishments for the year, we're very proud of Rondell Williams, who is our Gold Student of the Year, and Ms. Stephanie Wilkerson, who is our Rick Perkins Instructor of the Year. We implemented, as I said earlier, the success term starting fall of 2019, which increased enrollment by 3.3% and credit hour production by 3.4%. Now, we are sure that that will continue as we move through the COVID interruption and get back into a more normal school cycle. We completed the Carlton Construction Academy renovations. We completed the Pharmacy Tech Retail Lab renovations. We implemented several new programs: advanced imaging, barbering, unmanned aerial systems, e-commerce, and fire and emergency services. And we expanded our transportation programs to include accreditation for some of our transportation programs. Some of our other accomplishments: Surge Tech students passed 100% passed the licensure rate. Associate in Science Nursing, we had 100% pass on the NCLEX rate. The ATC Practical Nursing Program is ranked 6th in Georgia. We implemented new internship programs and partnerships with Albany Air Conditioning and Heating, Ford Town, Tyson Food, Albany Toyota, Albany Fun Park, and others. We implemented Success Partners during the spring of 2020. That's where the individual companies that work with us, hire our students, or depend on us. We've asked them to indicate how well we are doing for them, and we'll be getting to spotlight some of our graduates and faculty. We completed the biology lab renovation. We signed an articulation agreement with Gordon State College. we established a lending, library, and joint enrollment program for 2020. We had additional program matriculations with Albany State University that we signed in March of 2020. We implemented a career management system, parenthesis, purple briefcase. Albany Tech acquired another new vehicle, a Kia Optima for the Automotive Technology Lab. And now to our COVID-19 responses. They declared a public health emergency for 30 days on March 14th. That meant that we shut down completely and worked from home. We got everybody as much equipment as we could so that we could continue to work from home, but obviously this was a disruption to Albany Technical College's ability to teach students. Everything went online. ATC faculty converted the curriculum 100% online to telework. And for lab courses, that meant that we postponed the lab coursework until the summer when it was safer to bring back individuals to campus. CDL program started to transport medical supplies from Kennesaw to Albany for Phoebe Putney and for FEMA. TCSD Foundation donated 6 laptops for students to do work at home, those students who did not have the technology. We received CARES Act funding, and we began to work on our plans for how we would distribute CARES Act. Our nursing program donated N95 masks to Phoebe Putney Health Systems. The faculty and staff returned to campus with specific pandemic guidelines on June 1st. Summer semester started with 100% online courses and limited labs. And those labs were usually limited to students completing what they couldn't do in the spring. We had a virtual graduation on August the 8th for students who completed during the summer and the spring. And we do have plans to invite those students back to a traditional graduation at such time that is safe to do so. We implemented course offerings at Mitchell County High School. That's our newest off-site location. Some of the programs there were plumbing, design and media production, culinary arts, mechatronics, and horticulture. And we had a successful virtual SAC CLC visit September 29th to October 1st. Now looking ahead, we had to reduce the size of our annual budget to account for the 10% decline in state revenues, but we are confident that we can grow enrollment in areas that will allow us to continue with all the programs that we know are important and vital to our community. We received SAC's reaffirmation. We will enhance online course offerings and delivery. We'll implement in the upcoming months a new ESN expansion, which will allow us to add another cohort of 40 students. And we will implement a quality improvement plan called Yo Ready Set, Yo for our students to succeed, to make sure that the first year experience is even more fulfilling for our students and allow them to be successful. We're in the process of attempting to complete our CLEAR accreditation for our Albany Technical College police force. We plan to improve enrollment by 10%, retention to 71%, in-field placement to 95%. We plan to complete lab renovations for Barbering and Pharmacy Tech 2 and complete plans for the Albany transportation expansion, which will allow automotive technology and diesel technology to acquire ASC certification and provide more space for truck driving and auto collision. That'll be a 27,000 square foot expansion at about $7.5 million. We want to increase joint enrollment. Dual enrollment is where high school students have an opportunity to both take credit classes and complete high school. Joint enrollment is an opportunity for adult students who have not earned a high school diploma or GED to do both. And we also have a program called Career Plus HSE for students who left high school relatively late in their careers and they need a few classes to get a high school equivalency. The pilot project started this summer, and we are very optimistic about the new pathways that it'll provide for adult students in our area. So stay tuned, and more information will be provided. We will redefine instructional support services to overcome pandemic barriers. That means that what we're basically doing is continue to develop courses to make it easier for individuals to take the academic part online and come to Albany Tech when needed to do the lab classes. We want to implement a minimum of 5 new technical programs, and it's our plan to begin celebration of our 60th anniversary starting in January of 2021. So that is our condition. That's the state of our college. We have had a fairly good year. We've come through the pandemic. Our enrollment for this fall, we believe, will match enrollment last fall. It'll take a while to get students who had to leave back into the curriculum so that they can graduate. We believe that in 18 to 24 months, we'll be back on track with our goals for enrollment and graduation. So Albany Tech is still one of the better places to enroll for career education. And if you aren't enrolled now, we hope to see you in January.